They need us, just like we need them. And I tell this to everyone, the youth that you save today might be the one to save you, your grandchild, or your great-great-grandchild. You never know. Let's don't label these youths. We at Kamara Youths are here to support in every way possible. And we are so grateful to have at our disposal these individuals that are forward thinkers. I am so grateful to work with them. And I am so grateful for the strategies that they present. The youths are going through a vulnerable stage, and they need us. And I will repeat this repeatedly. It's not every youth that is out there creating problems, creating a havoc. They do have some good children, young people out there, but also those ones need support. Going in and out of jail is destroying their future. Give us the opportunity to work with you in supporting them. These children being buried, think about the pain that it's creating on their families, not being able to hug these kids anymore, these youths anymore. We can support you in coming up with strategies. All we want is that opportunity. All we want is for you to come and try one of us, and we will take you to a whole different level. This movement we have started is something that we know can support you. We are grateful for you. We thank you for what you do. We thank you for what you stand for. But above all, welcome to the movement, Fit for Purpose. Now, the lady that is to speak next is Dr. Elizabeth Lucas. She is the director of Kamara Youths. She is the ambassador as well for Kamara Youths. She has worked with different organizations all over the world, and she has written books. Dr. Elizabeth is unfortunately occupied. So, Chaplain Richard.
Yes.
This movement that we have started, we have some magnificent individuals.
Yes.
You work with youths as well.
Absolutely.
And I know you're quite passionate about that.
Absolutely.
Where do you see we going?
Without the correct guidance, the youth will be misled. Now remember, we are all having experience here. And also we were youth before. And we can also look at our history that we have made so much mistake. Maybe because we do not have someone to guide us. But I believe if the youth are not guided, I think they'll be wayward. Definitely. So they definitely need guidance.
Now, they say it takes a village
Absolutely.
to raise a child.
Yes.
I think we are that village.
Exactly.
The forward thinkers, we fit for movement.
Yes.
We are that village.
And we are initializing that change. It's not just good to talk about it, but it's you have to come and say, no, look, we can come together, put speakers, mentors, and everybody so that we can be an inspiration to the youth. So I believe this movement is a great achievement. So I'd like to appreciate you what you have just put together, and I pray that it will continue to grow from this London, UK, all over the world.
And thank you very much.
Yes, indeed.
We have Dr. Elizabeth Lucas back with us. And I introduced Dr. Elizabeth Lucas as the director of Kamara Youths, the ambassador of Kamara Youths. She's an advocate for love. She has written a book, Yes We Can.
Yes.
She's quite international, and she has taken the time to be here with us. Dr. Lucas, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for introducing me, and thank you for inviting me to this great event. I want to seize this opportunity to say congratulations for this event, and this is just the beginning of the more to come. So, protocol observed. I recognize our distinguished guest speakers and all our guests sitting down nicely to listen to us this evening. I also want to say thank you very much
So,
for this occasion. My assignment in this event is to inspire us in the areas of mindset for change. Why do we need a change? And why is it necessary for our mindset to be renewed? Let me quickly share with you what the former president of USA, Barack Obama, says. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the one we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. And from my own quote, from my new latest book, I said, first step to getting somewhere is to decide that you are not going to stay where you are. So desire to become better in life, in your relationship, in your business, and even in your leadership by changing your mindset. Set goals, take action, and get better.
okay,
Change is especially in this modern world of technology. Without change mindset, there will be no change. And without change, there will be no progress. Change we bring efficiency, fulfillment, and satisfaction in life. So, to move forward in progress in life, we need to forget our past, focus on your future, focus on your goals, face challenges and deal with it, fight the battle, follow your heart, feed your mindset with positive, creative, and constructive thinking words. If you change, everything will change for you, and even everything around you will change. Mindset is powerhouse where you store your information that you've heard, you've observed, you've listened to. Mindset is powerful and it is everything. But we have two different kinds of mindset. Change, but we need to change from fixed mindset to a growth mindset if we want to really, really succeed in life. Carol Dewick says there's two mindsets that can significantly affect your life and career satisfaction. Fixed mindset creates a misguided assumption and can allow negative thought to stunt growth and aspiration. But however, growth mindset will allow you to understand that intelligence isn't set at birth, and you can enhance your ability. Growth mindset will allow you to achieve higher and learn better, create and see opportunities. And that is why my book is all about yes, you can. So if it can either be positive in your mindset or negative. Sometimes, like my book, we say, like I said in my book as my story, I have been surrounded, filled with I cannot. When people say to me, you cannot do this, you cannot achieve this, you cannot claim, you can't become. But we have opportunity when we change our mindset to renew our mindset from negative to positive, from other people's opinion. You can turn it around. And that is what I have done in my book, Yes, You Can. So you can turn your I cannot do it, I cannot achieve it. You can turn it to I can. Yes, you can. Let me quickly give you how you can renew your mindset quickly. Number one, read books. A leader is a reader. Read books alongside with your passion, with your purpose, with what you want to achieve. Read books. Have a journal. There's little you can absorb in your mind. But when you have a journal and you are jotting things down, you can go back to refer back to it. You learn from others. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from your failure. You also learn from others. Listen to others. Observe what they do. Don't just be carried away with their achievement or their success. Observe how they do things. Ask questions. Ask questions is very important. It clarifies what the other people have said to you. Network with others. You cannot do things the same way you are doing it, and you can't do it alone. I'm talking from experience. You need to network with others to learn from them, and also they will learn from you. Research. That is very, very important key. Research. Any professor you see out there, they don't just base on the knowledge or what they're being taught. They go out there to research. And when they research, they become an innovator, creator. They learn new things. Look at what is happening with this pandemic now. We're all depending on the researchers to research new things that we can tackle this pandemic. So we need to research. So to renew our mindset is very, very important. Knowledge is power. So keep learning. Develop positive habits. Change mindset is lifeline learning. So therefore, be ready to move out. Be ready to move. To conclude this, I will just quickly read it to you. Be ready to move out of your comfort zone. Be ready to change your mindset. Be ready to shift and make a new direction. Be ready to recognize the opportunity around you. Richard Branson said something. He said, when you see opportunity or when opportunity comes to you, grab it first, then sort it out later, how you can do with it and do it. Be ready to recognize the opportunity around you, I've said it, and embrace it. Be ready to forgive yourself and forgive others if you are going to progress in life. Be ready to forgive. Be ready to love yourself, love what you are doing, and love others. It is the only way we can renew our mindset and embrace the new change. Without that, we will just stand still and be lamenting and complaining. But I want to believe that every one of us here today, we are ready to progress. We are ready to move on. And we are ready to make change. Because you know what? You are the change. Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Lopez. And before I hand over to another person, I just want to introduce to you amazing man, Mr. Fair, member of the Forbes Coaching Council. He is also one of the most sought after converted consultants for major corporations around the world. He has trained over 300,000 business leaders in the United States and abroad. He has delivered promising world-class and an award-winning presentation that have helped companies create more dynamic environment for their employees. Founder of the Leadership Experience Tour Program, exclusive club for speakers, and the CEO of Fair Consulting Group. Allow me to welcome Mr. Sean Fair.
I do apologize, Mr. Fair. I was not meant to intercede. However, um, please, ladies and gentlemen, mute your microphones. Please respect the speakers when they're speaking. Please give us the opportunity to support you. And the only way we can support you is by giving us the opportunity to convey onto you what it is we're trying to convey onto you. Now, a lot of people are waiting in the waiting room. If out there, okay, so if anything, Mr. Fair, I do apologize. Mr. Fair is a gentleman from America, um, consulting. It's Fair Consulting Group in America. He's always on the road doing a lot of positive
Yes,
things.
yes.
And he's the type that he believes in people.
Absolutely.
And he takes speakers and literally builds them
Wonderful.
to be on stage to support people.
Yes, indeed.
And he goes to corporations, he does a lot of outreach, and he's a leader in his field.
It's a pleasure to be working with him.
Mr. Fair?
Yes, thank you so much, Unisa, for the introduction. And I am excited to be here. And I just want to say, and I think we can all agree with this, is that greatness exists in everyone. Now, if you're one of those older adults, it might be deep, 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 deep down in there, but it's there. But for children, greatness is right there underneath the surface. You know, the experts say that pound for pound, the papaya has more seeds in it grown than any other fruit in the world. And when someone eats a papaya, the first thing they do is they slice the papaya in half. And when they do that, they open it up, and the thing that is most noticeable are these little tiny black seeds. Most people that eat a papaya, they take those seeds and they throw them in the garbage. But the fact of the matter is that those seeds have something on the inside that we refer to as untapped potential. Just imagine if you were to take those seeds and put them in the right climate, put them an inch and a half underneath the soil, make sure they get the right amount of sunlight on a daily basis, make sure they're getting water on a daily basis. Some planters, they put nutrients into the soil that says that it helps the seed to grow stronger. Some folks even sing to their plants. It says it helps them grow taller. But when you have all of these things within the environment, it allows the seed to grow into a papaya tree that produces more papaya, that produces more seed, that produces more trees, that produces more papaya. And all I'm trying to say is that just like the seed produces fruit, our children also produces fruit. That untapped potential that's on the inside of them is what I call vision waiting to come out. And a vision is nothing more than a realistic and attainable and attractive snapshot of our children's future. That's very important. They must understand that there is a road that they need to go down. I want you guys to just listen to this for just a moment. It says a few good things just happen by themselves. Most of the time, things happen when people decide they want to make it happen. This is why it's so important for us to have a vision. And with the vision, we visualize what we want to make happen, and then we initiate the steps to make it happen. And all we're trying to say is simply this, is that if you don't take action, if our children don't take action, if we don't take action, they will never achieve their vision in life. That's a fact. If you take a look at the picture that's on the screen, you see a man who's dressed to impress. He's got on a suit, a nice white collared shirt. He has a tie on. The man is dressed to impress. And in front of him, you see this carrot. And that carrot can represent so many different things. Maybe it's the wife he wants to marry, the house he wants to buy, the revenue he wants to generate, the company he wants to open. Whatever it is, that carrot, it represents his vision, because he's articulated his vision and he's written his vision. His conscience is constantly reminding him of what it is that he's trying to achieve. Children and adults, we all go through life. You'll notice in the background that there are dark clouds. Those dark clouds represent bad relationships. They represent issues and challenges with mom and dad. They represent challenges and issues with teachers. They represent just fitting into a particular class of other children. That's life. But when a child has a vision, a realistic and attainable, attractive snapshot of the future, when they have a vision, they remain focused. So if you look at the eyes on the man that's in the picture, no matter what's going on in his life, because he has a vision, he is still focused on what it is that he's trying to achieve. I want you guys to just take a moment and look at this video. Oh, let me just make mention first. The reason that the children need to develop a vision is because they need to inspire themselves, inspire others, and it gives them direction. That's very important. When you have vision, you have those two things.
But Holland comes in for a pit stop. Time to refuel and change tires. Newmore himself changes the tires. Only 4 crew members, including the driver, are allowed to work on the car. It's a tense time. Holland stays in his seat, anxious to get away. Let's watch. The tires are changed at last. A crewman polishes the windshield as Holland moves away just 67 seconds after he stopped.
Now, the reason that I showed this particular video is because that's the difference between a child having a vision and a child not having a vision. A child cannot achieve his vision by himself. In the second scenario, you have the driver who wants to win the race, but there are 22 people in the pit stop, and every one of those people, they understand the significance of their roles in the child life. In other words, a child must have a mentor. He must have resources. He must have people that are in his corner that are knowledgeable, that are experts in their fields. He must connect himself with people that have the right skill set. All I'm trying to say is this, is that our children, they need the help, and we are the help. We are a part of their vision. When you talk about the benefits of vision, let me just say a few things. It attracts commitment and energizes others. When you have a child that has a real vision and you know that they have a vision, you must step in and play a part. You should be energized when you see that. It creates meanings in his life and other people's lives, and it sets the standard of excellence. And this is very important for a child. A child should understand that they need a standard of excellence when they're working with their teachers. There should be a standard of excellence when they're working with their parents. There should be a standard of excellence when they're working with their coaches, their pastors, and whomever it is that they have in their life. There should be a standard of excellence. It bridges their present to their future. A vision is a realistic, attainable, and credible snapshot of our children's future. And we play a significant role in helping them to achieve their vision. I just want to encourage everyone that when you see a child and they tell you that this is what they want to be in life, to don't just encourage them to achieve it, play a role in helping them to achieve it. And if you do that, we'll start to see major success in our children. That's a fact. So with that being said, my name is Sean Fair. I can be reached on Facebook. I can be reached on LinkedIn. I can be reached on Instagram. My email is Sean, SHAWN, at fair, like the state fair, consultinggroup.com. And I specialize with helping children achieve their visions and corporations achieve their visions as well. The person that's coming to the stage next, one day she went to work and she couldn't see. And you can just imagine how many challenges that presented her. You just can't imagine the sorrow that she probably felt. And any time that you can't see, you would think that getting help from others is something important. But the one thing that I can say about the person that's coming next is that despite what she was going through, she still pushed through. She's an international speaker. She believes in helping people. She's the Chief Executive Officer of Vision Navigating Consulting. Please welcome to the virtual stage, Ms. Cheryl Minette.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much for that introduction. And thank you, Unisa, for this platform, for creating this wonderful visionary movement. My name is Cheryl Minette. I am your vision loss boss. And I hope you're hungry because today I am serving up the brain. Now you're probably wondering, why on earth would the vision loss boss be serving up the brain? Which is a valid question, a very good question. So let's get into that. The brain is an integral part of the life of a youth and all of our lives, but particularly when you're with a youth, when you are a youth, rather. Because as a youth, in your mind, you're creating visions. You have visions, you learn about aspirations, goals in life as you're being taught things in life. And you need to have that muscle, your brain, to be healthy, to be strong, to work for you and feeding it information. But also there's a process to doing that. There is a process, like for everything in life, there's a process for doing that. And when it comes to life, our youth are our future. We always talk about, oh, the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. But the question is, will they be able to lead? That's the question. Because our youth are crying out, no one's listening. Society is not listening. They feel that they're not heard. They feel that the knowledge they have is not being tapped into, that they're not being included in societal issues, that they're not being included in even family discussions. This is an age of technology, and our youth, their minds are so brilliant, and they are a resource that we are not tapping into. Their minds, as they are young, those minds are being exercised, and they are being strengthened every day. Every day. They're in school, they're learning things at home, they're learning things in their neighborhoods. They are constantly learning, which is great for the brain, because that's what you want. You want your brain to be able to take information and do what it needs to do. So now, again, why would the vision loss boss be talking about the brain? Again, great question. So the other part to that is that your eyes, which I refer to as the twins, are in close relationship with your brain, which I refer to as the mothership. So your eyes, they are the sentinels for you. And your eyes are constantly looking and watching, consciously and subconsciously, taking in information. And that information is then, as it's imported in, it's exported to the mothership. So now the mothership receives that information, and it is now doing what it needs to do. It is recognizing and deciphering, it is organizing and manipulating all the data, the visual data that is coming in, and it is storing that for you. And you want that process to happen, because as it's happening, you're creating memories, you're able to do recall, and it's very important. You want your brain to be working properly, because just think of it as the engine of a car. There are certain things you have to do to the engine to keep that car running smoothly, right? So you need to, check the oil. You want to lube and make sure everything is done properly. You want to drive it so that those fluids can circulate properly, so that every time you turn the key in the ignition, you hear that purr, that you know it is working the way it should be working. And it's the same with your brain. Your brain needs to be exercised and strengthened on a regular basis so that it does not get sluggish, so that when you're trying to recall something, the brain is readily able to give you the information that you need in a timely fashion. That is important. So again, the two of them work together. Now, if you weren't aware, 80% of your learning is visual. So what happens if, as a youth, either due to health, due to an accident, or physical altercation, you now find that you have severe vision loss? So now you go from 80% of visual learning. If it's severe vision loss, you have a very low percentage of vision that you are able to use in your day-to-day learning. So when something like this happens and you see a doctor, they tell you the medical diagnosis and that whole medical side of it. Well, what about the non-medical side of it? What about what you need to go through on a day-to-day basis? What about life skills? What about, in addition to life skills, what about the emotions? What about the mental challenges that you go through? These are things that need to be addressed. And these are things that will keep a youth from having a lack of confidence and feeling as though they have no self-worth, feeling as though now they're going to become a victim, feeling as though who they were yesterday, they are no longer, that their life has just ended. And I'm here to tell you, since this is the world within which I live, that You are who you were yesterday. You are still that same person. It's just that your life has shifted and a new chapter has begun. Just because you are disabled does not mean that you are incapable of doing things. Life is a challenge for all of us, whether we're sighted or not. And for those who live in the community of the visually impaired, we are living in a world that's designed for the sighted. So that in itself comes with a boatload of challenges, all right? But we make it. We can if we choose to. We do not have to be the stereotypical person who has sight loss and is sitting by the window all day and doing nothing, sitting in a corner, because those around us may not be comfortable. So therefore, they don't reach out to us, they don't support us, and they tell us, oh, just sit there, we'll take care of it. You know, you don't have to do anything. Don't allow yourself to fall into that category as a youth. Do not allow that to happen. Do not allow your life to be stifled. You have so much to offer. As a society, whether you have children physically yourself or not, all the children in the world are our children. We as adults are to look out for our children. We are to help them. We are to empower them. We are to lift them up. That is our job. That is our responsibility. And that is what I want you to know. There are so many things that we could be doing. If you're unaware, 70% of the youth that are incarcerated have been found to have undiagnosed vision impairments. That should not be. Can you imagine if that 70% had been checked by an eye physician? Can you imagine how many of them would not be incarcerated? Because what happens is we as adults, when we're not paying attention, we tend to, as humans, we tend to like to categorize people and put them in little boxes, you know, because it makes us feel better. So we want to label things. But then when something happens and we don't know what label to put on someone, it makes us feel uncomfortable. So when a youth now has vision loss, they are trying to figure out their place amongst their family, amongst their peers, amongst their friends, amongst society. So where do they go? Where do they turn to? We have a program at Vision Navigation Consulting called MPI. And what that does, it works with you from the mental aspect, because we know how closely related the eyes and the brain are, but we also know that on the non-medical side, a lot of times people become very depressed and give up on life because they don't know what to do and they don't know who to turn to. So therefore, we teach you how to exercise and strengthen your brain. We teach you how to put something in place so you know how to go from point A to point B when you know you have visions, goals, and aspirations, but you don't know how to get there. We help you navigate through that. And what I am looking for as part of this movement, I want people to join me and come on board. I'm looking for ophthalmologists to come on board. I'm looking for corporations to come on board. I'm looking for companies who manufacture sport goggles for youth to come on board. I'm looking for leaders in all areas to come on board to become aware of what is going on and what you can do in order to make a change, because you, like myself, we have to be that change. It is very important that we do that, because there's a story of a gentleman who, through an altercation, he lost vision in one eye. It was 1 year that he told no one. It was 1 year that his other eye did for the vision loss. 1 year later, he went for medical treatment. And when he did, it was too late. He was losing his eye. He was going blind in that eye. And the doctor told him, If he had come in a year ago, they would have been able to save his vision. So this is what happens when the youth feel they cannot turn to society for help and they try to go it on their own. Please become a part of this movement. Join hands with us. There are so many of us from different areas who are willing to help. Thank you again, Unisa, and thank you all for your time. The next voice you will hear is a man who lives on the global stage. He has such a fascinating list of achievements, accolades. It goes long and wide. Too many to too many to speak of on this program, but I will share with you this. Not only is he a renowned speaker, a mentor, a publisher, and a philanthropist, he is also a global strategist who works in the areas of public relations, marketing, and economics. And that, my friends, is not even the tip of the iceberg. This gentleman, in addition to that, has the time to be a signatory for the United Nations Global Compact. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the Honorable Abdul Muhammad.
Thank you, Cheryl. That was a very inspiring introduction. Thank you. And I also thank the Kamara youth for this wonderful opportunity to speak about our current generation and then also the future generation. First, let's deal with the generation as of now. I have over the last 40 years been involved in transformation of human lives and the environment, human rights. I've had an orphanage in Africa. I set up the first Black children organization in the UK. And initially I heard earlier about the gun crime, knife crime. I remember the proposal which I gave to Mayor then, that's David Livingstone, as Mayor of London, and also a proposal to then the Vice. We then have under Tony Blair, also about how we can make London and the UK child-friendly. Now, having run an organization on children for decades, I finally realized over the last about 11 years ago that we're all doing fantastic, great things. But unfortunately, if we don't look at, they say history is the great teacher for anyone. Now, 1945, when we came United Nations, similarly, the book by George Orwell about the Animal Farm, is unfortunately, very unfortunate that that's the life we still live. And I bet you all, and I'm glad that the first speaker mentioned about the issue of mindset, change the mindset. There's not much we can do if we don't change the mindset. But if we don't look at the foundation, because as of today, I remember that even United Nations, the last chairman of the president of the General Assembly of the United Nations was talking about building trust. We're building trust after 75 years. That's sad. But however, it's good that we realize that we need to build trust. But without trust and partnership, we can achieve nothing for our young people. Our generation is lost already, we know that. But we're trying to see what can we do about it. So I'll go straight to what we're doing about it. Realizing that if we don't look at policies, good policies can change a lot of things like this Africa. Like Africa is not poor. It's a very rich continent. But the policies, good governance, is that the issues. So when we talk about civil society breakdown, now realizing first that developing countries over the last 1955, 65 years, 66 years ago, leaders like Nkrumah from Ghana, from India, from China, they met in Indonesia, they met in Bandung and talked about the issue of the Asia, what was the first Asia-Africa conference. That led to non-aligned movement. That led to the South Cooperation, and then we have the UN Office of South Cooperation. We have the G77, which is the largest body which is the largest body, in the United Nations. But are they being accountable for the future of the largest, the two-thirds of the world itself? It's not happening. And so the issue there is, what do we do? And what we're doing as an organization is to build trust. And so we've been able to build trust between developing countries because we have the support of the Association of Arab Universities, which is over 300, and we have also the body of the African Universities, and I serve on the board of the Association University of Asia Pacific. So they've all mandated us to build a group, not a group, but to be able to create a structure. Because if we don't create structure, we can't change the way society is. Until we have a structure in place, then we can change the mindset of that structure. Individually, in parts, just doing it, we might not. So just like the reform or the transformation that which this body, which this group about fit for purpose is trying to do, you have to create a structure, which is good. And through structure, you can now start to change the mindset. Now, so we inaugurating that body, which is called the Forum of Africa, Arab, Asia, Pacific University Presidents. Then we can start addressing the fragmented education that we have, which is not fit for purpose, the education we give. Not even the fourth industrial revolution, artificial intelligence are now coming in. And then even look at the impact of the COVID to the young people. So we are at a very terrible state. But what I believe, like we all know, business is about solving problems. Now that we have great problems around us, I think it's the best time for children, for young people to actually come up with some of the ideas that have been said by earlier speakers. So if we don't create that structure, which we're doing. Now, to buttress the fact that we are lost generation, I was very appreciative of the fact of that was in 2018, when the World Economic Forum came up the fact that we are in a fractured world. Now, what did the world do about it? We all did nothing about it until COVID came. And I said, COVID is just a wake-up call for all of us to start doing things differently, to start valuing lives and also value time. Now, what we've tried to do, or my organization, which is the Africa Asia Scholars Global Network, and then we have the Global South Economic Forum, which came from the point of when the World Economic Forum in Davos in Switzerland came up with the theme about the fractured world. So what we did with my organization, we sat down and said, look, hang on. If we're in a fractured world, what are we all doing? And I was very impressed that at the 40th anniversary of that World Economic Forum in Switzerland, that they were actually talking about, they had women to co-chair the event. And believe me, I was so happy about it because women are great resource to society. And what we then did was we found an answer, and we found that how we can rebuild the bricks of our fractured world. And having acknowledged the powers of women, I called for a meeting in New York with the UN Women. And on the 19th of July, 2018, we started with the UN Women. And I will hold the fact that even if I could tell the UN Women that they do not even know the value of women. And I think women can do a lot to change our society along with men. Women have to come together rather than living that life which is away from the African adage about it takes a village to raise a child in the family. So we got a concept completely wrong, completely. If 1945, we're still living that life, then when people talk about blaming government, blaming the media, or blaming any of the structures or military, the point is we blame our civil society, ourselves. Because people in government are part of the civil society. So when you're blaming somebody in government, you're blaming your society because they are part of the system. So we have to bring them back into the system. And remember one fact, we talk about public servants. What is public servant? Even I remember not too long, Johnson said, our prime minister now, said, oh, we're servants. We don't have to be told that. But in real sense, people that we have given our lives to. And let me come quickly back because of time. When I was addressing some young people, students at University of Kent, I think it was February 2019. And None of the children, even the ones I spoke to in Saudi Arabia, or I mean in United Arab Emirates, what do you call it, in Dubai, in India, and the rest, none of our young people are interested in politics. I think my fellow friends and colleagues, we don't know a lot of things, but if we don't really look at the fundamental problems that we have, we're going to continue to scratch. A lot of people have been doing a lot of things for years. Where are we? Where are we? And if we don't, and I told the young people, they're not interested in politics. But let's try to remember, we're all political animals. And I told them, people you think are not important, they are going to tell you or guide whatever your family is going to do. They direct your life. You don't all have to be a senator or member of parliament. Set up a civil society organization that can call for correctness in governance. How can we give all our powers to people and then we can't manage them? It's a failure. Until we can manage people we put in public office. The media is part of it. The people in the military or whatever, they're all part of us. So society, it starts from, when you say neighbor, we have an adage that says, leave no child behind or leave no one behind. That's not happening in the real world. So how can we do it? We have to go back to the fundamental of first set of structures. We have seen, even when we talk about the United Nations said that we do not have sustainable structures. All over the world, we don't have it. Sustainable structures. So what we have seen, why do we not have sustainable structures? Is because when the Minister of Trade, Minister of Agriculture has to take his advisor from the university, somebody who's never been in a farm before, somebody who's never been in theater as a medical person before, and then how do you expect? You should expect short-sighted policies. But unfortunately, the UN gets a lot of things wrong. Because in 2013, the idea came, the best panicky results, I mean, what would I call it, policies or resolutions to our problems, was mentioned in Bali by the high-level panel of the United Nations, which was then led by David Cameron, by the Indonesian president and the Liberian president. And they mentioned in Bali, people-centered policies, renewed global partnership. But what happens with the UN in 2015? 2013 was just a process to say, what do we do with Millennium Development Goals? 2015. Now 2030, what do we do when 2015 comes in? They came up and say, renewed global partnership, people-centered policies, so that will create the foundation for our change that we are looking for. But what happened? They came with 17 goals and put partnership underneath the 17th. And yet we still have professors, experts, everybody. I don't understand what's going on with us. If we really care about children, and when we talk about the child is the father of man, when you fail to take care of a child, you are only directly not taking care of yourself, your old age. Because they feel on to yourself. And that's why I said, no child was born to be a vagabond or a criminal or a destitute. It's society that makes them what they are. And society suffers for what it has created. And that's why we have a fractured world. We'll have to get ourselves, let me use the word, our bombs together. It's quite unfortunate. And before I close my speech, first in life is you need to know yourself. We don't know ourselves. And when you don't know yourself, how can you know your environment? How can you know the people around you? So first is know yourself. You have to know your powers, your limitations. You have to do your SWOT analysis all the time about yourself. You must have a dream, and you must keep that dream flowing. Because within that dream, there are phases of life. And you have to be strong and bold, believing that nobody is going to live your life for you. Your life is yours, and let it not be taken away from you. We all go to bed, wake up in the morning, and what do you say the kind of education we have? What we talk about richness, the media now is to talk about issue of celebrities and the rest of it, and everybody, when the kind of thing we're giving to the child, what do we expect? And there is issue of freedom of press, because recently I talked about something about freedom of press. If in the United States, for instance, let me give us Khashoggi, who was killed by the Saudi Arabia, I mean, what do you call it, in their consulate in Turkey, it's a breakdown. And then what happened again, just of recent, about last week, if I'm right, or what happened in America, where the judiciary, where partisan politics took over judiciary. And that is a challenge to what we call the fourth estate of the ring, which is the media. So you see, if we don't deal with fundamental problems, we are going to be doing so much, and we go our old age, about to leave this world, and yet the world is cracking and cracking and cracking. And then you feel, what have I achieved? What we have achieved in during my time? We need to fit for purpose. Our lives, what do we do? Let us look for people who are doing great things. Most of them have been frustrated with the system. Let's try and resource them and bring them together. The world doesn't lack people, good people, but unfortunately, good people are turning bad, or good people are just receding backward because they've been frustrated with the system. Let's try and bring them together, resource them, and see the best way that we can try. Because during my age, the world can change. All I'm saying is, let's lay the foundation for change. That is during my time, and the rest of the young people can take it over and move on in their life.
So, Honorable Abdul, we
Yeah.
thank you very much, sir.
Yes, please.
We have to keep moving on to the next speaker, but we appreciate you.
I was just going there. Please, you're taking the time. I was just going there now, so that we don't lose the time. It is my honor and privilege to now use the opportunity to invite a wonderful lady named May White. May White is a clinical psychologist and psychiatrist since the 1970s. She has developed a number of therapeutic applications that are based on mindfulness for helping people experiencing a range of mental health conditions, which is very prevalent now with the COVID-19 or mental health issues. May is a mindfulness teacher at British Psychological Society approved training, mental health practitioner, existential psychotherapy, which is RNMH, and then you have retreat leader and award-winning speaker, 2018. She had worked in the voluntary and private sector, as well as worked with non-governmental organizations and charitable institutions. She's a renowned ambassador and in-house mindfulness teacher to the Clarion Education Foundation charity. So I would like to invite, once again, a wonderful lady, May White, to the podium. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Over to May White, please.
Sorry, I just had to unmute myself. Thank you, Mr. Abdul Mohammed, for your wonderful talk, and fellow speakers. It's been really inspiring. And thank you, Unisa, for inviting me on this platform to talk a little bit about the work that I do and how we together as a team and a group can help shape and direct policies for helping our children and the future generations. So I just want to talk a little bit more about what I do. I teach mindfulness, and I use mindfulness and other mental health techniques as tools for helping children develop thinking skills and build resilience. So I'm just going to say something about mental health, about our children's mental health, and about the mental health as parents. So as parents, we unconsciously pass on our unresolved traumas to our children, causing them trauma in our role as parents bringing up our children. So this is where, if you think of your little children as, little trees. So if you give them the wrong input, or you don't feed them or water them, they grow up maladjusted, twisted, unable to fulfill their potentials. As Sean talked about the little seeds in the papaya, our children actually that
I
way.
sincerely apologize to intercede. You're too close to the camera. If you can just move back a little bit, so everyone can get a better view of you, it'll be excellent, please.
Okay.
Yeah, just move back a little bit, you
A
know.
bit more? A bit more.
Oh, please go to the middle. Go to the middle and
There.
just move back a little bit. Excellent.
There?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
Please continue.
So when we, as parents, have our own mental health issues that have not been dealt with, they impact on our children. So we start from the premise that good mental health begins in infancy. And our motto is we need to take a lifespan approach to mental health. So we need to start thinking about the mental health of our children, not when they turn teenagers, but from birth. So as parents, we need to have the skills, the knowledge, and the awareness to help our children grow mentally healthily. So I just want to quote a few statistics from the Office of the National Statistics for the Psychiatry of Psychiatric Morbidities. And it states 1 in 4 adults experience a mental health event yearly. And 1 in 6 adults experience mental health issues at any other given time. And the World Health Organization estimates that 450 million people worldwide have or experience a mental health condition at any time. And 1 in 4 families will have someone with a mental health issue living with them. And the WHO had forecasted that by 2020, depression would be the second greatest global burden of disease. Obviously, we're now in the time of pandemic. Can you imagine how those figures have more than multiplied during this time and the impact that that is having on the lives of our children? So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a very special school that I have the privilege to be a part of. And it's called the Clarion Educational Foundation. And in our little school, we've tried to do things differently. And what we've tried to do is, and what we do, is focus on the soft skills. So why are we focusing on the soft skills and what are we focusing on? Now, our school is a voluntary school. We set up 13 years ago, and we work with children from socially deprived backgrounds and help them to get into the top public schools in the country on fully funded scholarships. And a couple of years ago, we had our first children graduate from university. So we support them through school, through university, and now they're teachers, they're doctors, they're lawyers. And these are the first children in generations to have gone to university and gone through and come out the other end as fully functioning, amazing young people. They've changed the trajectory of not only their lives, but the lives of generations to come in that family. And when they come to us in the beginning, we work with them, we build their confidence, we build their self-esteem, we help them learn to think in a different way. So how do we do that? And what are the tools that we use? We use mindfulness. We use a combination of CBT training, and we use solution-focused thinking. So although we focus on their academic abilities, we focus mainly on soft skills. And the most important thing that we start teaching our children is thinking skills. Why are thinking skills important? Children need to understand their emotions. So we use the tools of mindfulness to teach awareness. Awareness of the self. Awareness of your thoughts. Awareness and understanding of your emotions. And we impart the emotional language so that children can express themselves. Because often a lot of our children have come from backgrounds where they've not been taught how to express their feelings. So they don't understand, or they don't have the language to articulate their feelings. And if they can't articulate their feelings, how can they seek help? So they're living with this inner frustration of having feelings that they haven't been given the words to express. So we start by teaching children the emotional language. We use mindfulness to help them identify their feelings and their thoughts through different mindfulness techniques. So we teach them how to just sit with themselves, to be calm, how to manage their stress, how to communicate. And then we use CBT techniques to help them understand their thoughts, how their mind works, how their brain works, why they think the things they do, how they can change their thinking, how they can look at things in a different perspective. So we help them expand their emotional thinking and their analytical skills in terms of how it applies to them. So we teach them how to manage negative thoughts, where those negative thoughts come from, skills that they can use as tools to change their thoughts. And the other thing we use is solution-focused therapy. So this is putting all the theoretical skills of mindfulness and CBT into practical application. So when they have a problem or they have an issue, they know how to approach it. They know the right questions to ask themselves so that they get the right answers. They know when they have difficulties that they have the vocabulary to express those difficulties. They can articulate their needs, their wishes, their feelings. They learn how to set goals, and they know they have the roadmaps and the tools to achieve them. So this is what our little school does. And we're a little charity, and we're expanding so that we can help more children grow. Just this week, we were informed that Harvard University has agreed to partner our little school to help some of our children, so to create another opportunity, so that when COVID is over and once we can travel, our children have the opportunity to be able to go across to Harvard University and have the experience of a summer camp where they can be in that environment that will help get them to the next level. So at every stage, we build in these emotional tools. We also work with the families so that the families have psychological support, so they understand what it is that we're asking of their children and how they can support their children, because the parents are also an important part of the child's journey, the most important part. And we also teach the parents emotional skills. We also teach the parents emotional vocabulary so that they can communicate with their children. And through really focusing on those soft skills, we reap the benefits. The families are able to have that dialogue, have that form of expression and communication, and that understanding, so that the parents can really engage and support their child fully and feel part of that child's journey. Because often when the children come to us, the parents will say, I don't know what they're doing at school. When you ask them, you know, how's your child doing? What's happening for your child? They often don't know. And they'll say things like, oh, we just leave it to the teachers. And then we have that conversation. Well, you know, what do you do with your child? Oh, you know, he does this or he does that. We ask them what do they do socially with their child? They never quite clear. They might say, oh, we've taken them to church, or we've done this or we've done that. So we offer that psychological support to the children and to the parents. And when the children go off to school, we're still there in the background so that they know that we're there. So if they're having any difficulties, we can still offer that support all along the way. So through our focus mainly on soft skills, we've helped our children really expand and develop and have the tools, the life skills and life tools that will take them further on their journey and as they go through university. So Our school has shown the importance of teaching children thinking skills, skills to build resilience, to build confidence, to build self-esteem, and to be able to articulate their world in a way that they know how to, in a way that they feel comfortable with, and in a way that enables them to have control over the things that they can control. So these are the things that we do in our little school. And these are the skills that I work with other organisations, working with young people. And these are the skills that we focus on, soft skills for
May,
change.
I
Thank
do
you very much.
apologize to intercede. Um, sorry about that. There was someone named Saban. Please, can you please mute your mic? Please. We ask that everyone respect the speakers. Please, mute your mic. You will have access to each of these speakers after the event. We have the next person to come up. Lady May, do you want to continue introducing this gentleman, or may I? Should I?
Muted? Everyone muted?
Go ahead, May.
Yeah, okay. I just want to leave you with a few statistics to ponder. Now, these statistics were in 2015, so you can imagine the situation is so much more acute now. And there's some statistics from the Mental Health Foundation. In 2015, they said 10% of children aged 5 to 16 had a mental health diagnosis. Yet 70% of children aged 5 to 16 had not had sufficient mental health or any mental health intervention. The global costs to our economy of mental health in 2015 is 1.6 trillion. In the UK, the cost alone was 70 to
I do apologize, May. We thank you, but I'm getting the message, of course, from the engineer that it's over the time. So, ladies and gentlemen, May is a very intelligent woman that she's a forward thinker. We appreciate what May does. She's out here, she's been in the field, in the psych field, since 1970. She's someone that you can access through our Facebook app network with forward thinkers. So again, as I indicated, these thinkers are all accessible. Now, the
There's some
next,
interference.
can you please
Yes,
mute your microphones,
yeah,
please?
there was some interference.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
so that's the end of my talk, and I'm just going to hand over to, I believe it's Richard.
Yes, indeed.
Richard Cunningham. Richard is a media consultant, a director of AMB TV. I believe he's also a chaplain and a director of 2 major charities. And he's a chaplain at Cambridge University NHS Trust. Richard has a passion for sharing the love of God with people around the world and seeing the development of children and young people. And I believe he's worked on many projects that involve young people. So if we kindly welcome Richard to the stage. Thank you for your time, everyone. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, each and everybody, all protocols observed. As you have heard from the introduction, I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. I would, for the time's sake, I will just go straight to the point. As you have heard, I'm a chaplain, but just, if I can just go a little bit back, I also have run my company, AMB TV, for the last 20 years. And prior to that, I've also done 12 years of investment banking on a senior level. Now, I'm a chaplain at Cambridge University, as you have heard. But what I want to bring today is a balance. Now we have heard from other forward thinkers, leaders, mentors, and various experience we have had. But what I want to bring is a balanced life, how we can have a balanced life. Because you see, they say life is a journey. True. And how far is this journey? Or it doesn't really matter how far the journey is, but how prepared are you in this journey of life? How prepared are you in this journey of life? What have you prepared yourself for this journey? Because if you're going to travel in a journey, you need to first decide, what do I need for this journey? So that you can accomplish it. Now, especially the youth, the question arises, if they're to ask you, in this life, what do you really need? In this journey, what do you really need? I want to draw your attention to what the Bible says. Now remember, I'm not just coming to bring from a biblical experience or from a point of view, but I want to bring it on a point of journey, life. Because the Bible reminds us in Ecclesiastes 12:1, it says, remember thy Creator in the days of the youth. It's amazing they say the word youth. So in this journey, as I'm saying, because we are made of body, we are made of spirit and soul. Yes, we need the education. Yes, we need the money. But also we need the spiritual aspect. And that's what I want to bring into. In this journey of life, in all your qualification, in all your knowledge, in all your jobs, in all your experience, in all your chasing of this dream, we need to acknowledge that Creator. Now, there's a particular reason why I'm saying that. Because in my line of chaplaincy, we get called to pray for somebody when they're about to exit this world. It's sad. And I'm here to address the issue that we should not leave it to the last moment. In all your chasing of the dreams, let us acknowledge God. Because you can have all the money, you can have all the cars, you can have all the drive of chasing your career, but supposing you lose that life. Supposing, and it says in Matthew 16:26, what will it gain you if you have all the world, all the money, everything, and you lose your soul? You lose your life. So I want to encourage all the youth, I want to encourage everybody listening, that we are all in a journey. And in this journey, we have to acknowledge the Creator. We can recall very well in 1 Samuel, you know very well the story of David and Goliath. Now, David was a youth. He was 17 years old. But yet he has achieved something so great that other adults, other qualified soldiers were not able to do, and that was to defeat Goliath. Why was he able to do that? Because he has acknowledged the Creator. Because he realized that it's not by his strength that he can achieve what he was achieving, and that's by defeating Goliath. So same way, same principle. If you can acknowledge the Creator in your journey of life, I believe you can achieve greatness. Remember, I said this body is made up of the physical, the body is made up of the spirit and the soul. So it's very crucial. And I also want to, in my life experience, I mentioned that I'm a media specialist. I've run my company for 20 years. Now, we do documentaries to build a profile of an individual, of a company, of, you name it. So we make documentaries of the life of an individual. So you can see that this life that we have, we are going somewhere. And for you to reach your destination, you need to be prepared. We're in a time of COVID-19. We have seen unprecedented number of people losing their life. And I'm sure the viewers watching, some of you and many of you may be going through bereavement. Many of you have lost somebody. You have lost a family member. I've been to many funerals. We should not leave it to the last moment. This is the time we need to not just depend on our abilities, just like the story of David and Goliath. David did not just depend upon his own skills. Don't just depend upon the money you're making. Don't just depend upon the family or the surrounding that you have. We're here to create that awareness that you need to acknowledge the Creator. And of course, I'm saying this in due respect. I understand that there's various faith. Yes, I do understand, and I respect that. And I'm not here to say what faith is correct or what faith is true or not. No, I'm not into that. But I'm here to address the issue that if you can acknowledge a side of faith, it will help you. And by the way, we also need spiritual guidance. I mentioned an example. If someone has lost, they're in bereavement, they need spiritual guidance. It's very, very crucial. And I know my time is going very fast. And in conclusion, I want to put a few questions and a few points that I believe can perhaps assist you. Because you see, many times in this journey, at times, an individual, and you may have this experience, you may be looked down because of your size. Maybe you are too dark. Maybe you're too tall. Maybe you're too short. Maybe because you have a particular accent. People look down on you. People look down on your ability. But I'm here to say that to achieve that greatness for a better future, this is saving our generation, you need to be able to concentrate and ensure that this discrimination does not allow you to not achieve your vision. Because you see, in life, as I come to my closing, the question is, in you as an individual, you see, some people are needed, but some people have needs. But the question is, which one are you? The company you work for, and some companies, they're in need, but the company that you're working for, are they needed? I want to be able to impact the youth, and I want to thank Unisa Kamara for providing this platform so that we can use our skills to give the spiritual guidance our youth need. So for more information, please don't hesitate to contact us, and I appreciate each and everybody. So thank you so much, and for everybody for listening. And I would like to introduce my next speaker. The next speaker, which is Burke Camus. Now, she is the CEO of Be Your Own Hero. My goodness. She's going to inspire you because she has, from the ground level to a hero level. And I believe she's going to share some information and some nuggets and some tips of life that I believe will going to create a great inspiration, not just to youth, but to each and everybody on this platform. She is also a coach, a life coach. She has hosted various programs. She's also an award winner. And she believes that everyone has the ability to live to their own terms and be their own hero. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to have Burke Camus. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? My name is Barke Faraj Kamus, and welcome. We're all here because we are an amazing team, and I just want to say thank you for everyone who is here, and I am so happy and grateful to be here with you today. Now, with all these challenges that we're having, it's part of life. we're all here and we're big smiles and we are ready to actually make a difference in our youth today. Now, I would like us to actually just connect within ourselves and ask ourselves why we're here. What do we want from this event today? What do we want to get away from? What do we want to take away within ourselves? And the most important thing is that I would like all of us to reflect on our own life when we used to be kids, when we used to be teenagers. How, how was life then? And if we can actually look at ourselves, we all have stories. We all have something unique about our past or our experiences in life. Now, Barke, be your own hero. How did that come up? I would like to share a little bit of my story. I was born just like everybody else here, hopefully. And I didn't live with my mom and dad. I actually was living with my grandmother, the good grandmother. And I always had this feeling, why am I living with my grandmother? Why did my parents leave me here? Was I not wanted? What's wrong with me? Am I different? But I couldn't say it out loud because I was scared of the consequences. Remember, I'm less than 10 at this time, and I do still remember. At that time, I'm also was going through sexual abuse. I couldn't tell anyone because I was scared what will happen to me. And at the age of 12, I was shipped out to Zanzibar. I was born in Kenya, and I was shipped out to Zanzibar. And for the first time, I met my mom. My mom was living in Kenya with my dad and my other siblings, but my dad died when I was 9 years old. I didn't know, at the time, I didn't know how the effect of not having a father figure. So meeting my mom for the first time and actually starting to understand, remember, I'm 12, nearly 13, started to know what's going on. And what I saw in Zanzibar, it was very different. Women stays in the kitchen. Women don't say anything. Women don't do or stand up to anyone, especially men. You do not question. You have to do what you've been told. And I didn't agree with that because I want to be different. And I hated my own gender because of that. So what happened? I had no one. I couldn't speak my thoughts freely. So what I done, I just gone closer to God. And so I would always go to God as like my friend and my superior, and I will complain everything what's going on with me. I'll just complain to him because I know God will keep my secret and he would not judge me, and it's okay. And I used to ask God all the time, please take me out of this place. Please give me, give me someone or a family that I can actually look after. Make me a person that I can do good in this life. And so I always pray, please take me away from here. Take me to a place that I can be able to do something better. I don't know what it is, but I want to be able to actually be different from my mom. I resented my mom because her husband died and she was depending on him. She had no voice because she's living with her in-laws. And then what happened is that she became just quiet, just like Cinderella, until she got remarried and she had another husband to look after her. So what happened is that 15 years old, I had an arranged marriage. At the age 16, I came to London, UK. And when I came to UK, I was so excited because one of my favorite languages was English. So at least I can speak the language. So I was happy with that. But then I started realizing, even though I'm in a different country, but I was married to someone who had a similar or exactly the same mentality of African. So I couldn't grow. I was stuck again. Another obstacle until 15 years of marriage. Yes, I did my best. And I had to look at myself and I had to say, who am I? Why am I here? Because I've forgotten the promise that I made to God. I want to do good things. I want to be the better person. I forgot that for a second. And I let all the other responsibility and making other people happy more than myself. So what I did is seeing myself for the first time in a long time and say, Barke, you have to deal with this. You have to make a difference for yourself. And I now look around me, it's my children. When my daughter told me, Mom, if nothing is changed, I will run away. She's 14 years old. Something has to change. Because that, especially my children, are my anchor. They come first for me from before anyone else. And that is the promise I made for myself, that I will look after my children. I will not leave them the way I was left. So I started my journey for self-development, personal growth, and standing up for myself. And for the first time, the first thing I had to do was get a divorce. Yes, it was like a certificate that I've passed. I had to do that for myself. But then the next thing is that growth within myself. I didn't finish school. I had to go and enroll myself to school. And I had to stand up for myself and be my own hero. But then that wasn't enough, because what about those women who are going through the same thing? Or maybe they're just about to go into the same thing. What about them? What if I was the voice? What if I can actually make a difference in their lives? How would I do? Or where should I do? Or where? Or when can I start? There's no better time than the present. So I started speaking. I started telling people my story. I wrote about my story. And for the first time, I stood up because I said no. And I said enough. Enough of the pain, enough of everything that is not working for me. And I choose to actually say yes to life, to say yes to everything that is good for me. And that is what I did for myself. But then when I started speaking and I started coaching people and I started mentoring in job centers and all these other places, in mosques and churches and every different parts of communities. But guess what? The biggest one was actually going back to Zanzibar and speak for the first time with my own community. And that was the power. And that was like, wow, I did great. Now, let's take over the world, yes? And this is why we're here. I would like to say to every one of you, whoever you are, if you are able to actually stand up and smile for the first time because you mean it, and just be there for someone, even if it's not your child, just be there. When you see them fall, you're there. It's okay, you can get up. When you actually are able to make a difference in someone else's life, do it. I am here to make a difference in the whole world. And I am here to actually be and become part of the team to fit for purpose. Thank you. Now, I would like to invite another speaker. He's an amazing personality. You better watch out and be ready for this. He's like colorful, trust me. It should be on your face. And his name is David Slate. He's also, I mean, he's a psychologist as well. Okay, he's great. Okay, we like him. Okay, and we cannot live without him. So here he is, David Slate. Thank you for joining us today.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. By a show of hands, can you all see the screen? Fabulous. I am Dave Sleet. I am Managing Director of A&A Psychological Accreditation and the author of The Psychological Hive. Let's give the system a chance to catch up. So, The Psychological Hive is a guide that's taken over 22 years to produce, and it's researched against the most successful companies and the most successful people in the world. And one of the things that has been a key factor in the success of The Psychological Hive has been that the most successful companies and the most successful people operate in a very different way to the rest of us. And for everything that we've heard this evening, the Psychological Hive encapsulates it. It's already there. Mindset is very different. The approach to how we engage with each other and the world around us in the most successful companies and the most successful people, it's already very different. And that's why they're more successful than the vast majority of us. And it's why people like Sean are in such high demand, because he's taking that information into those companies and growing them from the inside out. It's why the things that the Honourable Abdul Mohammed spoke about are so important, because we need to make sure that the world understands that it's from our mindset that grows the future. And if we don't grow as adults, how can our children grow? But we are the change. We've heard it over and over again this evening. We're the change that is needed. But if we don't understand why something isn't fit for purpose, we can't change it. So, why is the system not fit for purpose? I'm going to give 3 examples of things that we can change very, very quickly and have a massive impact. And then I'm going to introduce you to the NCS model. And this is the structure that best represents the successes in the most successful companies and the most successful people around the world. Problem 1, the mental health presentation to our young people. We talk about mental health as professionals and as clinicians and as society as though mental health is a coat that we put on when it starts raining. Mental health is a constant. It's something we all have on a sliding scale, just the same way we have a physical health on a sliding scale. The balance of that scale is between the trauma and life experiences and the coping capacities and the resilience that we carry beforehand. We have to start talking to our young people in a way that doesn't say 1 in 4 of you will have a mental health issue, because they look around at 4 of their friends and their friends seem fine, so that means they've got the problem. Mental health affects 100% of us 100% of the time. We have to embrace that. We have to change the dialogue around mental health with our young people. Point 1. We can move that very, very quickly. Point two, how many of you, by a show of hands, recognize this kind of structure? It's horrific that this structure that was designed into our education system over 200 years ago is still the baseline by which we engage with the world around us. It was a lie when it was given to us, and it was a lie now. Our world does not revolve around the singularity at the top of that pyramid and our place is somewhere within it. That's not the way the world is. But it creates a problem that the world of psychology and the world of academia forgot. Think for a second about the businesses that operate this structure. Do you see in this structure the most important components of any company? Do you see a customer? There's not one in this structure. And the reason there isn't one in this structure is because the structure isn't based on the real world. But that's what was hardwired into us. And when I say it was hardwired, take a look at that. How many of you recognize that kind of system from when you were growing up? That's a school. But where is the most important component of a school in that structure? Because I don't see any pupils in there. What does that say to a pupil that's struggling to engage with the world around them? You're not even part of this process. You're just an ingredient that goes through this sausage machine. And that's what's been hardwired into every single one of us that has been educated in a Western European-based system. And it leads to another problem. So if we can dispel this in our young people, then we can start to dispel this one. Thinking outside the box, get this, it's a myth. It was created by students going, oh, we've got to come up with something. We've got to have new ideas. How can we do this? And it ignores what we know about psychology. It ignores the human fact that our brains are binary. This holds us to only 4 lines of symmetry in the brain. It's a good idea, it's a bad idea, it's day, it's night. That's how the brain works. And if we want to have different ideas, the last thing we need is what most companies do and look for like-minded people. Oh, we all get on, we're great, it's all a great team, it's fabulous. But we have different shades of the same idea. And we don't evolve as quickly as we could. In order for us to seriously evolve and seriously think outside the box, we need different people. We need disruptors. We need people that we don't get on with. We need to be challenged, and so do our young people. But if we as adults, as educators, as society can't embrace those approaches, then what hope do our young people have of breaking the chain that we've set for them? It's nigh impossible for a young person in an environment of like-minded people to come up with anything new. So we just repeat the cycle. So, what stands out about the most successful people and companies? Companies and people like these. Every single one of them operates in a different way. The Psych Hive is a capture moment of what those elements are for those most successful companies and people. But the key factor that I want to share with you is the structure. And by sharing with you, the structure that makes the most amount of sense, we can show our young people that there is a different way. And this structure is going to show you how you as an individual can grow, how you can embrace everything that you've heard this evening. So are you ready? Are you really ready to face a different approach? Because if we're not, then everything that Fit for Purpose aims to achieve can't happen. The NCS model is one system that works for individuals and for businesses. And I'm going to show the model side by side so we can really see that this is two sides of the same coin. And that way we can give our young people a sense that they can achieve as individuals, but they can also achieve as future leaders in business. It's balance for equality. We have to understand that the processes that we use as adults for our young people have to be equal. So, for time, I'm going to run through this as quick as I can. So I hope you can keep up. How many times have you heard business leaders like Richard Branson or the late Steve Jobs say, I'm not the head of the business, I'm the heart of the business? How many times have we heard people who say they are out of balance with themselves and struggling? It's the same thing. They're trying to be the head, not the heart of themselves. This structure brings that right to the center. So at the center of the structure, we have the boss and the operational management in the business side, but in the individual, we have the private side and the public side of an individual. And when those two elements on either side are balanced and are communicating effectively and working together, there is balance in that individual. And that's what coaches like Parquet, like myself, like Sean, all work to do with companies and individuals is work towards that balance. The baseline for everything is knowledge. We've already heard leaders are readers. The wider that knowledge base, the stronger those foundations are for that structure. And that's the same for individuals as it is for business. We've talked about having the right support, the right people around us. But if we don't know who they are, or we don't know what that means, then it's near impossible to create. So the baseline of that base triangle of knowledge and the right people that are there to support you is dependent on the experience of those people supporting you.
David? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Slee. Thank you so much, Mr. Slee. I don't know what is, but we're so grateful for David's information.
Yes.
David is a quite unique, intelligent young man.
Yes, indeed.
And David and I've done projects together.
Yes.
I'm honored to work with David. And when he says psychological hive, David will give you the foundation and create the whole building for you. Very intelligent. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time where I get the opportunity to talk to you again and thank you for your time. Sincerely, we are grateful for you being here, sitting here and listening to all these wonderful forward thinkers. I know many of you got and gained so much information. I want you to reach out to us. We have a page on Facebook that is created by Nathan. Networking with the forward thinkers. Reach out to us, contact us, and let's work together and make a difference. We are going to open the floor for about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, for you to feel free to ask any speaker you choose a question. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't get the opportunity to speak to the speaker that you choose, please interact with us on Facebook, networking with forward thinkers. Thank you very much. Shall we open the floor? Please unmute and feel free to ask your question. Can we unmute everyone, please? Or one at a time?
I think normally the best thing, if you have a question,
you
if you can just
unmute.
indicate, either raise your hand or just indicate somehow so that we can acknowledge that you have a question.
It's too many pages. That's what we won't see.
I believe the producer can indicate. If you wave your hand, the producer will unmute you so that you can ask your question.
She need to unmute. You hear me? She need to unmute.
So once again, you can wave.
So no one said
Yes, I can see a hand. Yes,
ask a
Nikki.
question?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you can unmute Nikki Coley.
I've done it. I've got this Zoom thing covered. Okay.
Nikki, just give us a second.
So,
Ask Nikki to unmute her phone.
If you can unmute yourself, Nikki.
it's unmuted.
Excellent. Go ahead.
Perfect. Amazing. So with all these things, what are you hoping to do? Are you hoping to keep doing events like this and then just collect a group of people to work with the youth? What is it that everyone intends on doing?
I believe Nick is asking what in terms of the program, is there going to be a future one? I think this is referring to you, Unisa.
Well, thank you very much for asking the question, Nikki. What we intend to do with this movement is to have one every month. Every month, we will have some of the main speakers that you see here and some new speakers. So we're looking for speakers that are of forward thinkers. And we respect everyone, but we have a board that we sit and we discuss who we're bringing on board. So at the end of the day, it's not just me. I have to sit with the team and we discuss. So we welcome everyone to send their bios, Unisa Kamara at unisakamara.com. Feel free to reach out and we have a whole team. Thank you for your question, Nikki. Anyone else? Please feel free to unmute to ask your question.
Unisa, just to add to Nikki's question, I think ultimately the whole Fit for Purpose project is about finding solutions and very quick, very easy solutions that can be put into play to support young people build their resilience, build a better path for the outcomes that they want, rather than reacting to the environment and the situations that they find themselves in. So anyone who has solution-based proposals that need support is a great way of bringing those ideas off of the page and into action.
Well stated, David. Thank you. Any other questions? Ladies and gentlemen, do not hesitate. This team can answer any question. There's no wrong question. So do not hesitate to say, well, is this a right question? There's no such thing as right or wrong. It's only one seeking information. And that is what we're here to do, provide you the information that you seek.
And also, of course, you can also send your comments or questions through the chat, through the Zoom site, because I can see some of the people are obviously acknowledging they're enjoying the show, and from NOMSA, and just a few comments. So you can either choose to, write your question onto the chat.
Anyone else?
Seems like no one said.
We have Dr. Elizabeth, we have Cheryl, we have Sean Fair, we have David, we have Honorable Muhammad, we have the chaplain. Please, ladies and gentlemen, you are here for a reason. You're here to gain information. We are doing something that has never been done. Do not hesitate to ask a question. And the only way you will know if this is the right thing is to ask your question.
See, I hate silence. So
Nikki's
what is it
something.
that you want us to do? How can we help you? What is it? You're doing another event in a month's time. What would you like us to do to help you? You've obviously inspired us and touched us. So what would you like us to do?
Would that be for me, Nikki, or is that for someone on the team?
Anyone who chooses to answer would be awesome.
Nikki, what I'd like to see from this group and from this event is people that want to see growth, that are hungry to see that change for young people, get involved, come with ideas, come with suggestions that we can actually put into practice on the ground, and we can make a difference in the lives of young people. The system is so used to not listening because it's in survival mode. It doesn't want to hear new ideas because it does what it does. So as far and as wide as we can go, let's get the ideas that people have that they know might work on a small scale. Let's see if we can't actually drive those ideas up out of the ground and into fruition. But it takes more than just this team. The ideas that we have, the projects that we can work on, the engagements that we have can only do so much. And there are so much talent and there is so much ideas out there that we know with the right impetus, with the right support, we can get over the line and make things happen. And that's what I really want to see out of these events, is people coming forward with ideas that we can push across the line.
You see, the thing is, Nikki, and as David said, we need to get the word out there. Khan is the mayor of London, and his proposal is to get more police officers into the school system, into the educational system. Is that the solution? We need everyone out there to spread the word. And one thing I must say is I have to acknowledge that Khan assistant was part of the team today, because she and I, we are in contact. She's sending us information, so we are dealing with the mayor of London, and which indeed we're grateful for. But we need to get the word out there. We need to show that we are here to make a difference. We're working with the mayor in Barnet. We're working with different mayors here in London. But if we don't come together as one, we are the ones on the ground level. We know what is going on. We know what is needed. So by us coming together, we can create a stronger force. And the best way to create a force is by uniting.
That's it.
So you're saying that what we need to do is unite and bring forward ideas. Is that what you're saying?
We can see, does anyone else have any question? Well, as we come into a close.
Yes, I have a question.
Oh, that is Greg from the radio station that is always talking about what we do, how we're doing it. Greg, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm delighted to be here.
We cannot
and I
hear
think
Greg.
just going
give
back
us a minute while the
to
technical
Nikki's
director...
question, because I think what I gather is that she would like to know what are some of the tangible examples of projects that you are currently doing that our ideas will be able to contribute to in order to help these youths. So I think, you know, for the benefit of some of us, we just want to know those tangible projects. You know, what are the examples that you can give us so that we can, you know what sort of ideas you're looking for.
That's an excellent question. Thank you so much. RTM Radio. I would want a member of the team to take this, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, this is Charlotte, and I will say from my platform, which my business is Vision Navigation Consulting, dealing with the youth, there are about 60+% of the youth that end up in emergency rooms are there because of sports-related injuries, simply because they were not wearing the proper or any at all eye protection. So one of the things that I am trying to do, which in my speech I had asked companies that are manufacturers of youth sport goggles to come on board, because I would like to create a program where these can be administered to the sports or athletic departments in schools of like elementary and lower elementary schools for children, because it is not a requirement. I would like that to become a requirement in schools in athleticism. Does that help answer your question?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good example.
Allow me to give you another one, Craig.
Yes.
ANA Psychological Accreditation has a training division. It's our community learning hive. And one of the projects that we offer to schools, youth groups, and those organizations that work with mother and baby units or parent and baby units is our storytelling workshops. And we have 3 storytelling workshops that look at work around coercive behaviors, around bullying, and around cheating for personal gain. And when you look at the curriculums around the world, bullying is the only one that is static in all of them. But we also know that the bullying processes and the anti-bullying policies around the world are about as fit for purpose as everything else is, because bullying just carries on getting worse. So the workshops that we use are designed to help 8, 9, 10-year-olds and their parents or their carers to create the stories for 5, 6 and 7-year-olds so they understand what coercive environment actually is and what can be done about it in a way that is child friendly and safe. It's a way of taking away all of the fear factors that adults have about dealing with those topics and giving it to children so that they come up with the solutions. Adults are not the best people to find solutions for young people. Young people are the best people to find solutions for young people. We have to give them the space that we had as young people to learn and grow, and not expect young people to know what we know as adults, because they don't.
Now, what we also do is, am I being heard? Okay. What we at Kamara Youths do, our focus, quite as sure we're housed in. Anywhere that you think you are afraid to go, we go. We have a team, psychologists. We surround ourselves with a team to support our youth, to empower them, to help them build their future. We are quite focused and we are determined to stop drug routine of jail. We are quite focused to stop parents from going to the graveyard and burying their children. Back in my day, it's not the parents that bury the children, it's the children that bury the parents. So we want to stop that. And that is what Kamara Youths is all about. We feed the kids, the youths, when they come, we want to make a difference. And the best thing that's ever happened to Kamara Youths is the team that now we have. Our team is surrounded, it's getting bigger, and the bigger it gets, the better we can support each and every one of you in the organization. Someone has a question. We will be wrapping up shortly, ladies and gentlemen, so we will appreciate any questions and we will open the floor for the speakers to say a word or to a minute or two, then we'll round up.
I would like to add from what you've said there, because for what I'm doing in my company, it's a community interest company, and this is something that I work with mothers, so the women.
You're on mute, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Someone.
Hello there. Yes, please. This is Shaban. This is Shaban from Uganda. I guess you guys can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks so much for this opportunity. I have a question to ask. Some of us right now, we have organization that we are running down here in Africa, and we're already doing some stuff, you know, to change the mindset of the youth and even helping them. Like, for instance, you know, running street programs and actually taking those kids off the streets and taking them back to school. Now, what I'm hearing right now, it's as if like all the projects are actually based in UK. Is there any way you can corroborate and actually incorporate with some small organizations like the one that I'm running, Hope for the Voiceless, so that we can try to work with the youths down in Africa, especially Uganda? Thank you.
I would like to answer that.
Please.
Now, I'm actually coming up with this new project that we're doing, and it's called Amplifying the Voices of Africa. This is something that it needs to be done, and it hasn't at the moment. What we're doing is that we have a team that we can go to different countries in Africa and help those organizations. So whatever they need or whatever they have the obstacle in their way to make them grow or to make them become who they want to become and help those community. We are the solution by actually teaching or training those areas or the places that you need the most. So you are in the right place. And I believe there's also other people here, they might be helpful, but you can actually leave your either email or get in touch with us. Here as solution. We're here to make a difference in people's lives, but also within the organizations that are helping the communities. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one more question before we come to close. I believe a young lady has a hand up. Please ask your question to the thing. I was told by the there's someone who can put up on the screen. Okay. So, gentlemen, ladies, as we come to an end, again, we want to thank you for your time. We appreciate you being here. We will do this again next month on the 20th, and we will have different speakers. And again, the forum is called Networking with Forward Thinkers. It's made by Nathan. Please interact with us. And gentlemen, ladies speakers, a forward team. Anyone has anything to say before we come to a closure in 2 minutes?
Can I say something, Unisa?
Can I say something?
Can I say something, Unisa?
Juliet, it's talking.
Juliet is speaking. Please go.
Okay, it's Juliet here. Sorry, I haven't got my picture. Apologies. But yes, thank you so much for this event, for this opportunity. Really inspiring messages from everybody. So I speak as a mother. I speak as an educator. I speak as a life coach. And I speak as a mother who discovered suddenly when her teen was 14, 15 years old, that suddenly she had a Black child growing up in London. And the Black child was bullied, and the Black child there was a misunderstanding with somebody. And I am a mother of this child who suddenly, while I was ironing my clothes, the police knocked on my door and my eyes nearly jumped out of my head. What are you doing? You know? So I come to this event with so many hats, with the experience of being an African woman who grew up in Uganda and did not know anything about race until I came to the UK. And raising mixed race children, there is an additional layer of their identity as well. And also I have worked in secondary school, sixth form. For those that don't know sixth form, you're working with 16, 17, 18-year-olds. And I was working as their pastoral and well-being officer. And I really resonate with what Dave was saying. And actually my job, when I was working with these young people, they were saying, Miss, nobody cares about us. That is everything they say. Miss, nobody cares about us. Miss, nobody cares about us. So I really welcome this conversation. I welcome, I think, the necessity for us to build a village around the child. I resonate strongly with what Sean was saying about supporting our young people to curate. You know, they have a gallery, they have a vision, so they'll come across the teacher, the nurse, the auntie, whoever. I think we have a responsibility to help our young people curate their vision. So this is my approach, you know, and I'll have, by all means, a positive regard for every young people. I absolutely love them. Their energy is off the scale. They are amazing. They can think about endless things. Their brain will think about endless opportunities. However, the system limits them. Somebody's gonna tell them, "Oh no, you can't. Oh no, you can't do this. Oh no, you can't do that." When their brain is really telling them what they have to do. So for me, my job, and I think our responsibility in this forum, is to enable their dreams. Why not? you know so that's all I wanted to say, but really thanking everybody who's shared their stories, who's talked about their organizations, and I'm really looking forward to the next event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Julian. Anyone want to respond to that?
Well, one thing I can
One
say
thing I
is
can
I
say is it
I
seems as
think
though there's a lot going on. I'm so sorry, Reverend.
it's a lot going
There's a
on.
lot going
So
on.
what we're
So
going
what
to
we're
do
going to do
in May
in May
is have a
is
mayor.
have a mayor.
We will have
We will
a
have
mayor,
a mayor,
either
either
the
the
London mayor
London mayor
or one of
or
the local
one of the
mayors.
local
But we
mayors.
will have
But we
them
will
on
have
here,
them on
and we
here.
will all
And we
come
will
up with
all come up with
strategies on how
strategies
we
on
can
how
make a
we can make a
difference, how we can
difference,
make a
how we can make
change.
a change.
I'm sorry,
I'm
Reverend.
sorry,
That
Reverend.
will be the
That
last
will be the
question
last
for tonight,
question for
ladies and
tonight,
gentlemen.
ladies and gentlemen.
yes.
Reverend Joyce was saying
I
something.
think the Juliet message opened up to mine. I run organization. I'm a founder of a church, and branch of the church we have organization, and we intend to educate parents about youth culture and gang family. And we believe the parents have a lot to do, and the parents are the first point of contact to the children. So if the parents understand how the youth culture is about, and then how they get into gangs, I think it will help us a lot. So we organization, our aim is to educate them to understand everything that they need to know about youth culture, how they can relate with their children, how they can spot signs, how they can relate as a parent, how they can help them with their mental state and all that, so that they can be able to help them we cannot stop knife crime, but at least we can minimize the effects or the impact over our youth. So that's what we do. And I think everything we have said here tonight is very informative and it's very important. And I think we can move forward if we can involve the parents a lot in our education, because the youth are very secretive and they are difficult to engage with. But if we can help the parent as well, at least they can also help us to support the youth in order to eliminate the knife crime and sudden death that's going on among them. So that's what I want to say.
Thank you, Reverend. Does the
Thank
team,
you as well
anyone
for
in the
inviting
team,
me.
does
I just
anyone in
wanted
the
to say,
team
yeah,
has any, oh, Juliet, okay.
yes, please. Having worked with the youngsters that I talked about, amazing teenagers and young people, they actually know the system is not fit. They use a different words actually. So they know that the system is not fit. They use F and it ends with a D. Education system, everything. They know it's not fit. Nobody cares. What they say is nobody cares. That is my experience of supporting secondary schools up until 2018 in London. So they will welcome this opportunity. They will welcome a different dialogue. They will welcome the equality model that Dave has been speaking about. They will welcome building their resilience, their cognition skills, their vision. So this is sorry, I'm getting really passionate at the last at the very last minute. So what I'm saying is that they will welcome this. So let's work together to present a different model, a different structure. It is 2021. the education system, the structures of 50 years ago are not fit for our young people. We want to raise them, we want to inspire them, and we want. They are our leaders, in 50 years time, I'll be, I don't know where I'll be, but we want to raise young people to be fit to leaders in 20 years time, 30 years time. And is the system now fit for them? Is it going to work? So sorry to say it again, us young people know the system is not fit, effed up. So they'll welcome us as passionate mindfulness, whoever we are, they'll welcome us to work with them to get a different structure. Sorry.
No.
Unisa, before we wrap up, I just want
Yes.
to touch on what Juliet's just said and what the Reverend Jocelyn mentioned a few moments ago. The way forward is not just looking at the awareness of what the problem is. We are all aware, our young people are more than aware of what the problem is. We have had awareness thrown at us for the last 50 years. If we're not aware of it now, we've been living under a rock. The way forward is not just awareness, but it's moving from awareness to action. It's about time a whole sector, our education sector, our mental health sector, our crime sector, everybody realised that their little bit of the world is not the world in which our young people live in. They live in the world where it is completely open for all of those sectors, and they impact on young people every day. But while the system looks in its silos at its little bit of the world, young people are falling down the gaps between them. And it's time our system said no. It's time we put action in place to go, let's move away from looking at how bad it is and put things in place that are fit for purpose. And I
Thank you
thank
very
everyone,
much.
and thank you, Unisa, for pulling this together. It's a phenomenal approach, and
Thank
I
you, David.
applaud all of you for taking part. Thank you.
Well, as we come to an end, this wonderful forward thinkers are accessible to you, ladies and gentlemen. Reach out, dissect their brains, and see what they're about.
True.
You know, I promise you, you will not regret it. From David to Richard to Sean to the Honorable Muhammad to May to Dr. Elizabeth to Barkey.
Cheryl.
I cannot forget Cheryl because Cheryl is like,
Absolutely.
whoo. But please reach out. We like having fun.
Yes.
So it's not all about we will find a strategy. Hashtag fit for purpose. Spread the word. Let everyone know. And we are not going to stop promoting this. You think we were promoting it hard this time? Wait till next time.
Absolutely.
Please reach out. Thank you for joining us. I wish you all a blessed night.
Bye.